Swine Flu Sensible Precaution to Prevent the Spread of Swine Flu, by David Osborne, trcb.com. So it and RSQUO. S with us, or not, as the case may be. And NBSP. I refer, of course, to swine flu, and all the doom-laden experts have been queuing up in the press and media to predict the end of the world as we know it. And NBSP. Pandemic is a word tossed lightly around, and it and RSQUO. S coming to a neighborhood near you. And NBSP. Professors of dubious provenance, as dry as sea biscuits and whose sense of humor was surgically removed when they collected their PhD, drone on interminably about Armageddon, it and RSQUO. S very depressing stuff. I blame Mexico, where it all started. And NBSP. There they have and LSQUO. Swine and RSQUO. Not pigs, a subtle difference perhaps, but a difference nonetheless. My family and close friends tell me I and RSQUO. Am like a fine wine, I don and RSQUO. Tea travel well, but if I were to foray into foreign parts, I doubt if Mexico will be high on my list. And NBSP. Even getting their augurs ill. And NBSP. The National Airline of Mexico, I forget the name, but it and RSQUO. S probably Mexisair, is running a very curious advertisement in the national press. And NBSP. There and RSQUO. S a picture of two passengers, presumably in business class, as their knees are and RSQUO. Tea tucked under their chins, staring with rictus grins at a plastic tray containing the chef and RSQUO. As special. And NBSP. If ever a meal were designed to attract an immediate dose of swine flu, this is it. And NBSP. And to make matters worse, not a drink in sight. Mexico is rapidly turning into the Benidorm of the Americas, attracting the great unwashed in search of sun, sea, sand, sex, sombreros and sangria, and all at trick-bottom prices. And NBSP. The economy seems toe-rooted in the drugs trade, with campesinos being swatted like flies in violent turf wars by rival and LSQUO. Barons and RSQUO. Vying with each other for control of market. And NBSP. The police in Mexico City have the unenviable reputation of being the most corrupt police force in the world, and that and RSQUO. As saying something, and the politicians are not much better. And NBSP. I suspect it has something to do with the heat, the flies and the food. Your article could be in this broadcast. Visit trcb.com to find out how. To beat the remorseless spread of swine flu, we are being enjoined to observe even the most basic standards of hygiene whilst in public places. And NBSP. It and RSQUO. As a sought indictment of homo vulgaris that we need to be reminded about the dangers of free-range sneezing, coughing or gobbing, or washing our hands after visiting the lavatory, or resisting the temptation to scratch our bottoms, or pick our noses. And NBSP. We are also advised to avoid unnecessary bodily contact. And NBSP. With whom, pray? And NBSP. And LDQUO. Sorry, darling, not tonight. And RDQUO. I was visiting a client in person the other day. And NBSP. He proffered his hand for me to shake, and I declined. And NBSP. And LDQUO. Swine flu, and RDQUO. I explained. And NBSP. He recoiled in horror. And NBSP. And LDQUO. Have you got it? And RDQUO. With all this publicity, nobody, least of all the NLSQUO. Dry as a sea biscuit and RSQUO. Professor, is telling me what are the symptoms. And NBSP. The best being offered is TAF symptoms are akin to ordinary flu, but then, as I have never had ordinary flu, this DOESN and RSQUO. T help. And NBSP. I have had influenza, a better class of malady altogether, but never the NLSQUO. Flu and RSQUO. Finally, some elements of the media are searching for a better and more socially acceptable epithet for swine flu. And NBSP. I agree, so why not porcine influenza? And NBSP. If you and RSQUO. Re going to die, then die with dignity. David Osborne is a successful barrister, voice actor, author, media personality and public performer. In 1991 he hit the headlines nationwide and made legal history when he delivered his final speech to the jury entirely in verse. For this tour de force he was dubbed the Barrister Bard. For more information please visit NBSP. www.davidosborne.com. Music by Kevin MacLeod.